let's get after it, boys. Let's talk about some more things here. We've got this. This is cool. Look, I mean, I put on the caption, flirting or the real deal. We don't know right now, but I like seeing this. Somebody commented and said, does Florida have a chance? It was on Felix Ojo, 5-star offensive tackle. Shout out to our Discord for popping it in there for us to see this. I love the Discord. We're able to get great conversations happening there, pissing contests happening there. It's a fun time. But those guys are all over it. People are constantly just kind of monitoring and watching the situation. So we're able to keep up with things throughout it. But Felix Ojo, excuse me, he's got a lot of visits set up. Obviously, we'll probably get as it gets closer towards the end of May. And I know when we had Corey Bender, they talked about Felix, like he's got a lot of visits set up that they're going to move some things around to have him on, I think, in the next couple of weeks. And so, anyways, this person says, "Hey, does Florida have a chance?" He goes, "Yes." And then they follow up. Corey Broach says, "What makes you like Florida so much? The coaches, stadium, atmosphere, school, Lagway." That feels like a Chat GPT question, but he says, "My connection with Lagway and the atmosphere." Love that response. I think the Lagway was a huge one. And again, when you're a tackle, what do you want to play for? I want to play for a quarterback that's going to make us look good. That's going to, get the ball off quickly. And I would say that running back room, right? You got just a talented room behind you. It's something exciting to block for. I want to go to war for this guy. And Lagway embodies what we were just talking with Will about. Just that mindset, just the logo first. So look, we've always felt that Lagway is our biggest tool when it comes to recruiting. I think we saw that close out last year's class. There was obviously some concerns of whether or not Napier would be there. And look, I think we've got to. Some of us had to eat some crap here when Strickland came out with that letter to basically reconfirm that Napier wasn't going anywhere. That got a lot of smoke. Yeah. Look, I think I was part of that too. I'm not here to, but I think we have to make sure we keep ourselves accountable and in check of like, look, at the time it seemed nuts, and sometimes as fans we're a little short sighted and ultimately ended up being, I think, a very big power move because obviously half the class ended. But yeah, I'm excited to see, man. I think there's a lot of great buzz with offensive linemen right now. DeCoster seems to be just grinding away at it. Anytime you hear about it, and even Bender when he's been on the show a couple of times, DeCoster has been the name that has been ringing true. And we've talked about this. We love Rob Sale and his development. Recruiting has never really been his thing. I mean, and that's okay. It's not everybody's thing. And so I think they made the proper move so it could happen. But DeCoster seems to love it, enjoy it, and has embraced it and is doing wonders for the Florida Gators. And look, I saw another update. We talked about this on Monday night with Steve. There was 3 at the time on Monday. There was 3 NFL or 3 of our players projected to go first round in the NFL. I saw an update where there's 4. 2 of those being Jake Slaughter and Austin Barber. And I said Austin Barber during the show. I said, look, I think if he has a monster year, which he looks primed to have a fantastic year, he could climb up because left tackle that's the bread and butter right there.
Yep.
And so if you are an offensive lineman, you got to look at that. Now, these guys grinded. They put in their time. They put in their effort. They're both going into their senior year. Like, it takes time to develop. But that's where Florida has done a great job. And they were preaching the two offensive lineman treatment. They just added 2 more assistants. If they send both those guys to the NFL and those guys halfway through the season are looking like All-Americans once again, look out. I think this recruiting can heat up like a son of a gun.
Yeah, I mean, you've already had Slaughter with his accolades, and then you had Osiris Torrance that you put in the NFL, and he went really, really high as well and never gave up a sack his whole career in college. And obviously, you talk about the Lagway factor. I mean, everybody knows what he did in high school, the awards that he won, the accolades and everything else. But these kids, they go on this visit, and they see how Lagway carries himself and how he, pumps the team up and how everybody, obviously they play for themselves, but he's kind of the leader of that team, being the main quarterback, obviously. But they see a lot of that stuff. And, I know our offensive line recruiting hasn't been the best at a star level. I'm not saying on a development level, but on a star level. Now, kids are starting to see like some of these 5-star kids, some of these 4-star kids that are taking the visits in June. A lot of them have announced already when they have like the big grill in the Ville and everything else like that. They're starting to see, where Florida, where Lagway, I mean, the season was dead. I mean, almost. And then Lagway comes in, and I don't like to blame him for the Georgia game because he got hurt mid-game, but like he went on a 6-0 tear, like right as he came in. And then the kids are seeing that and they're like, oh, wow, he stepped up and he saved this season. And there's just a lot of factors to that. And then when they actually meet him in person and see how he carries himself and everything else, I mean, that goes a long way, especially with the coaches and everything else, because the coaches can tell you whatever. They can say, oh, this is a great school, this is a great program, blah, 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 but they got to see it. And when they come to campus, they see it. They see the personality of just Lagway, the other players, and obviously you put some of them in the league as well, especially with if these mock drafts go the way that they are. Yeah, the University of Florida is going to get a lot of looks.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think, look, I mean, just everything is heading in the right direction. There's a ton of buzz, a ton of momentum. And we're going to talk more too because the rankings for the coaches came out. We'll talk about that later in the show. But real quick, Dalton McFuckus, McFuckus,
Don't fall for it.
$5 says Vonnie and Ojo will be Gators just as sure as Dave will slam a Jaeger bomb this Friday. Love you guys. Go Gators.
There we go.
Vonnie, I can't remember his first. It's Vonnie something. This Steve Harris and I chatted about him for a few minutes the other day. This young
Yeah.
man, he thought he was a transfer. He saw his clip and he's like, this kid's coming in to play now. And I had to let Steve Harris know this kid's going into his senior year. This kid is a dog. I would not be surprised if he's a 5-star by the end of this thing. I mean, the way that he looks as a junior is mouth dropping. I mean, these kids
Nasty.
nowadays though, it's going to be hard for these recruiting sites because the development is just getting further in their career where they're starting at a younger age. So these guys are getting sharper and faster, which is great for the game because when you go watch college football, I love college football. It's my favorite. But NFL is sharp. It's fast. Like there's a difference. Because every spot is just premier. I believe college, especially at the higher level, is getting closer and closer to that because just the talent is just naturally rising like the cream does to the top. So should be good stuff there.
Yeah, Vardy, he is right now he's rated as like a top 50 guy on 24/7 Sports, but like 139 overall. But this is still the beginning of the cycle, man. And like I know who you're talking about. I think it's Vardy Cleveland. He's got really good film. I've watched it, and this guy's get
Cleveland.
up and go. The way that his size and just speed that he has is just ridiculous. Like it's one of those guys that you look at, and it reminds you of those defensive lines that we had back in like 2012. Those types of guys that were there. Like you see that, and you see a lot of that in Vonnie Cleveland when you watch some of that film. And like, if he commits to Florida, I'm going to start telling a little bit of lies about this D line recruiting, like when it picks up. But of course, he's got to stick. He's got to sign. I'm not too bought in at the beginning because I know at the beginning of the cycle, a lot of things can happen. It's the NIL day and age of NIL now. But when it starts getting to November, December, man, like that's when the eyes are going to be on this recruiting class. And I think, and hopefully, Bonnie Cleveland will be in this class. He is from Alabama. Alabama's probably going to be heavily involved in that because he's a hometown kid. But yeah, man, if Florida is able to land this kid, man, that'd be a good feather in the cap.
He wants to be part of that Chapman lineage going to the pros.